everybody. Good day. Figured I'd just kind of touch on a few things about the Henry Doorly Zoo today. Now, a lot of people visiting might not realize how big our zoo actually is here, and it's kind of important to get a few things across. I would like to touch also on that within the zoo, they're going to be doing a lot of walking, you and the entire group you have with. So getting around from area to area is important, and some of the areas are a little more challenging than others if you have a stroller, a wagon, or if you are using a wheelchair. Most of the areas are easily accessible to all these things, but there are some areas that are not. Some areas are designed more for specific small kids, which is wonderful because they do have several wonderful areas designed specifically, honestly, for kids. But there's things to note that you really need to take care of and think about before you get there to make your trip a whole lot better. And for everybody, for that matter, especially the kids. I would like to first mention always at the Henry Doorly Zoo, if you're going to be footing it, plan on having a good pair of walking shoes. Also, another recommendation I would have, living here most of my life in Omaha and going to the zoo since I was a wee tyke myself, also have tennis shoes, good pair of walking shoes. If not tennis shoes, a good pair of walking shoes. I would not wear anything that is not, because there is a lot of walking and moving from location to location. Also, I'd recommend bringing something, a hydration bottle, or have something. There are concessions available throughout the area, and I'll touch on this at various times. If you don't want to do that, you can bring certain things within reason. But remember, whatever you bring, you'll be carrying. So, and the zoo itself can take, well over one day to go through the entire zoo unless you're really flying. And then if you're doing that, then you're not going to see nearly as much of what you could. And some of parts of it are timed too. There's certain areas that have different shows or events at certain time frames, which are fantastic and absolutely priceless. One other thing too, honestly, I've found it easiest for myself and my daughters, which are about 12 and 15, well, 13 and 15, almost 16 now, is that you plan it over several days. That way you don't wear yourself out, your kids out, and everybody enjoys it much better, because that way you can actually see some of the events, some of the shows, because a lot of that they incorporate where you can touch the animals or play with the animals, or even be near them and see them perform some of the most wonderful things that you'll get to see ever. From the elephants to the stingrays to there's so much to do at the zoo. It's amazing. And also, there are several different types of passes too to get. There's different types. I'll cover prices at one point, go into more a deep dive into how to prepare for the zoo before you go, so you can make the most of your time with your family and your children and your kids, or even as a group. I've been a school bus driver for years, and I could not tell you how many groups I took down to the zoo over the years. A lot of us school bus drivers, after we dropped off and parked our buses, we'd go to the treetop lounge. We'd go to the lounge area up there, the dining area, and overlooking the jungle, which is currently closed. But wonderful area to wait for a while as the school groups are going around. Then we'd go back out to our buses and bring them up as needed when the students are ready to leave. Uh, One other big note too, when planning your trip, you'll want to plan on an area to eat or to be at that's, depending on the weather, if it's going to be outside and it's nice, then there's a lot more areas available. If not, then there's enclosed areas for adverse weather, inclement weather, which would still allow you to see the zoo, but it's protected, but those are a lot more limited. So, like I said, that's a lot of extra planning will make the trip much more enjoyable for everybody. So it's not more of a challenge. We want these memories to be happy, especially this is the good life. All of us Nebraskans want the best for all of our visitors and family and friends wherever we're at, near us too. But if you have any more suggestions, I'd be more than welcome to take those. And my daughters and I, we're going to go over the zoo and continue our adventures through this, and we'll build upon this so everybody can plan a little bit better and have the best zoo trip ever. Thank you again, and like, subscribe. That helps us keep informing other people and notifying the world of our wonderful adventures. You have a blessed day.